This is Ron from Ron Reviews Movies. I started this project out a couple of weeks ago, and I got bored, and I wanted to watch a movie from my preteen era. And once I finished watching it, I found out that it was different than I remembered it. And then I decided to do a movie review on Facebook, just kind of an ad hoc movie review. And so I wrote about how I felt about it then and how I feel about that movie now. And, obviously the difference. But it kind of started out with how I felt about it as a kid and, how I feel about it as an adult. I hope I'm an adult. But then I also slipped in some of the differences between how things were in the 80s and how they are now. And my friends seemed to appreciate that. And what they did was they said that, you should really do a YouTube video. So I'm doing a YouTube video now. Now, this isn't a review of that movie. That movie was kind of crummier. The movie that I'm reviewing tonight is Dirty Dancing. It was made in 1987. It's an autobiographical recount of a young woman's coming-of-age story, which rings remarkably true. I mean, they could have made the bright parts brighter for more appeal and the dark parts a little less dark, but they did this with respect to the audience. We actually feel like this could be someone's story. So the movie starts with a soliloquy from Frances Houseman, who's played by Jennifer Grey, and we're going to call her Baby because everybody calls her that in the movie. And it's in 1963 in the Catskills. And remember, this is before Kennedy was assassinated and before the Beatles. And so riding next to her is her sister, Lisa, who's played by Jane Brooker. Her mother, in the front seat, is Marjorie, played by Kelly Bishop. And her father, Dr. Jake Houseman, who's played by Jerry Orbach. And the doctor part is important. If you stick around, you'll see why. So the Houseman family pulls up to the Kellerman's house in Kalamazoo, and it's a really beautiful lake camp kind of thing with, sailing, hikes in the wood, dancing, barbecue, beach stuff. I mean, everything that you would want in a summer vacation if you were a city dweller and you wanted to get away from it all. Now, the story revolves around Baby discovering an underground world of dancing. And they dance different than she's used to with different kind of music in a racy way. And she wants to know more about it, right? But she also gets sucked up into the drama of the people that she wants to get to know, which involves a life and death situation and a strictly taboo romance with Johnny Castle, who's played by Patrick Swayze. Now, Baby is introduced to Johnny at a very safe, very acceptable dance at the camp. And she's compelled to know more about this world when she sees Johnny and Penny Johnson, played by Cynthia Rhodes, come out on the dance floor and absolutely kill it to a mambo song. It's beautiful. It's like a dream. I think the closest thing you could get to that nowadays would be like going to Cirque du Soleil. So the movie continues, and with Baby trying to ingratiate herself into the cool kids group. Which includes finding Penny crying on the floor in the camp's kitchen and telling Johnny about it, where she finds out that Penny is in trouble by Robbie, and she tries to help asking her father for money so that, Penny can get an abortion, which was illegal. It was illegal in this country back then. And so Baby really can't say why she needs the money, but when her father always taught her that if someone was in trouble and she could help, then she should. So we find out that after Baby helps here, that things go horribly wrong. Penny went to one of those backroom butcher type abortion things that you hear about in stories. It's just, oh God. And Baby sees no other way than to get her father to help out, which he does. See, that was important. Right? So her father comes and helps resolve this situation, which was life and death for Penny. And I have so much respect for people doing the right thing, even if they don't want to. So Baby, after a quick study, we see a lot of montage shots and her learning and toe-stepping and a lot of this stuff. Baby and Johnny begin having a secretive affair. which remains hidden for a few days until drama at the camp leads to Johnny's accusal of stealing a wallet from one of the guests at the camp, which Baby struggles with until Max decides to fire Johnny, and she just comes out and tells everybody why he couldn't have done it. He was sleeping with her all night long, and right in front of her dad, Max, everybody. So it was probably a very embarrassing moment, but more power to her because she loves this man and she doesn't want anything bad happen to him. And right on. So, Johnny's going to get fired anyway because he has a relationship with one of the guests, and Johnny and Baby have a tear-jerking final goodbye, and Johnny drives off, and Baby's sad because, nobody had cell phones back then to keep in touch with each other, and all you ever had was the moment in front of you, and that's all you had, and you got lucky if you ever saw each other again. So a few minutes go by, and then we see, Baby and the family, they're all, watching the entertainment, the closing of the camp and everything like that. And Johnny just comes back. He is not gonna have this. He decides to fight for what he has. And he walks boldly up to Baby, who's sitting in a corner behind her mom and dad. And Johnny just says, nobody puts Baby in the corner. And he puts his hand out and he lifts her up and they walk up to the stage. It's totally unplanned, right? Nobody in the camp knew this. And Johnny announces that he wants to do his kind of dancing with a great partner. And not only in dancing, but teaching him about the kind of person that he wants to be. And when they play I Had the Time of My Life, I start tearing up a little bit because, this is a really touching moment. You love to see people standing up for love, and that's what he's doing right here. So they do their dance, and it's great because it's better than Johnny and Penny. It's Johnny and Baby, and you can tell that they're in love. There's more to it. You can see that there's more involvement. And they bring the house down, and Johnny lifts Baby up in the air, and it looks like it's so beautiful. You want to make this a hood ornament, put it in your car. So the dancing continues. You can tell the movie's over right now. It's just like the dancing continues until the end of the full song, and the club kids are dancing with the people there. You can tell that the moment is changing right now. The future is no longer taboo. They're bringing the future of music into the old world, and everybody is starting to accept this, which is great. So, seriously, I cried with joy, respect, and pride for the last 10 minutes of this movie, just because I like to see that. So, what I thought about this movie, right, back then, when I was a kid. Now, to be honest, I really didn't care for love stories when I first saw this movie back in 1987. I was, 15, going on 16. So I chose to see it as a kid goes to camp, gets curious, gets caught up in other people's drama, and all along the way that she learns how to dance. And I can honestly say that I thought most parents at the time were just uncaring jerks who just wanted to control their kids. And I was a sucker for movies with songs on the radio, which is true. I did actually listen to most of the songs that were in movies. And so what do I think of this movie now? And not much deeper. See, this movie is how life happens. You start off doing one thing, and opportunities arise along the way, and you never expect them, right? And you can either choose to accept these opportunities or not, and you never know what's going to happen unless you try. I saw poor and wealthy people coming together. I saw there being human, both good and bad. I saw a young girl fall in love for the first time, and an older man being not only caring and decent, he was a mentor to our protagonist. And I also saw a young heroine be brave enough to ask for help, knowing that she could get in trouble, because that's what heroes and heroines do. So love, compassion, respect, and unity, they transcend any divide. And stories like this help keep us human. And I want that for everyone. So, scoring, right? Plot, 5 stars. This is a tale of self-discovery and personal growth. A girl goes on summer vacation, girl wants more than the same old, and takes a walk on the wild side. Staying true to her character, though, she's rewarded handsomely, and not just with the unlikely relationship, but in the gratitude of the people that she helps. So, character, 5 stars. Nobody here is playing a role that doesn't exist in real life. Everyone had their own character flaws, and they let them be known in a believable manner. Also, people weren't unbelievably trusting either. If you wanted to be trusted, you had to earn that. And all the main characters emotionally grew as people, and I'm a sucker for that. Believability, 5 stars. See, a normal family trip to Summer Lake House with other families takes a few twists and turns, and soon our protagonist finds herself embroiled in a world that she did not know existed, but was compelled by her human instincts to dive further into. I mean, we've all faced this. We've all been in a situation where we found something that we liked and we just went for it. So the story is life. Extra props to the movie for including black and brown people, as they're part of life too. And even though the 1980s had a problem with including them in general in wholesome movies like Dirty Dancing, this was a good step. I'm glad that they made that. Soundtrack, 6 stars. 6 stars. Because it brings back timeless classics. I mean, sure, I Had the Time of My Life by Bill Medley and Jennifer Warnes was made in the 1980s, but it was such a good song. It's timeless. If they made it in the 1960s, it would have been played then, especially for this movie. And then we have She's Like the Wind, which is Patrick Swayze featuring Wendy Frazier. Did you know he could sing too? It's literally his story about Baby, how he feels about Baby. And then, of course, Hungry Eyes by Eric Carmen was also in this movie, and it was on the soundtrack. So there are some songs that are not on the soundtrack, which are great, and I want to talk about them too. Some Kind of Wonderful, Johnny's Mambo, Be My Baby, Big Girls Don't Cry, Do You Love Me? They were among many other classics. They were on in this movie and added so much depth and character to it. And I can honestly say that this movie gave us something to reach back to. That love is timeless. And I can honestly say that this movie helped reinforce the classics my parents used to play for me at home and in the car. It's bridging the generation gap, and I probably would never have done that for myself, voluntarily, unless I saw it in a movie like this, and that, was like supposed to be playing to my generation. So it allowed me to say, okay, these songs are good. So the score is 21 out of 20 because it broke the mold for me. For the extra awesome song selections. If this movie can bring a tear to my eye, maybe there's a hope for the world. Love happens where, how, and who with you least expect it, right? The best you can do is be brave enough to fight for it when it happens, like Johnny and Baby. Be like Johnny and Baby. Fight for love, as though the other person is you, because they are. I hope my perspective, being a middle-aged person, brings something to your life. These stories certainly mean something to me, not just because of the nostalgia, but because I'm seeing the movie for really what it was intended to be. I obviously didn't see the movie for what it was intended to be back in the 80s. I just saw what I saw. I hope people see that other people are, human beings. They're friends. You can be older for people and friends too. People worth spending time with. Now, I'm not asking you to do anything you don't want to do. If you want to like and subscribe, please do. I'm just going to keep doing this until people stop showing interest in these reviews. But if you don't, please don't. Just don't. Just don't. But if you think that someone can be helped by these movie reviews, please share it with them. Thank you, everybody.